Hey everybody, it's Matt Michaels here with Sin City Steve and Simon Street on the Vegas Badboyz of podcasting, and we're joined by guest bad boy this week, Mr. BJ Darden, the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, the franchise player, Bad Blood. I'm telling you, it's a great show that you guys do. People should check it out, and we've always been happy to have you as one of our not only colleagues, doing stuff with, but as a friend. And,
you guys are fucking awesome.
Well, at least you know what, the most awesome bad boy, as we were saying, is out right now, DJ Impact. And for those of you who haven't heard, and hopefully we'll see this video maybe next week while he's out. So if he's listening right now, get ready, because DJ actually was on a horse this weekend, and I mean, the rest of us, kudos to you, because you won't catch any of us on a horse. Nope. And Steve, you're from Ohio, and you won't even get on a horse.
Nope.
Man, all I gotta say, Impact, is what your thighs and your ass feel like after that, and how long was you on. I'm just saying, if you've ridden a horse once ever in your life, you realize it's either for you or not for you.
My man got hemorrhoids right now from the horse. I'm telling you.
Well, he's got 2 more weeks to work on those hemorrhoids then before he's back on the show. So. All right, we're doing our 3 count here, and this week our first story comes from Wrestling Inc. It's an update on WWE versus AEW ratings battle in the U.S. and abroad. WWE business has been trending in a positive direction for several months, with TV ratings and live attendance up over a year, up year over year. Last week's SmackDown in particular showed how much the Bloodline storyline is connecting, with massive ratings increase for the celebration of Roman Reigns' 1,000 days as champion, coming off the Jimmy Uso turn at Night of Champions. At the same time, AEW's ratings and attendance are generally down year over year. Some new details on each company's standing at the moment came together in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter from good old Uncle Dave. All 3 weekly WWE shows are up a year over year. In the key demographic, the one most valued by advertisers, adults aged 18 to 49, with Raw on a 19-week streak and SmackDown on a 22-week streak, and NXT being up year over year 22 of the last 26 weeks. AEW, however, is seeing the opposite results. Dynamite is on a streak of being down year over year for 26 weeks, and Rampage down 24 of the last 26 weeks. In the United Kingdom, ratings for AEW programming have fallen dramatically since April 5th announcement of the All-In show at Wembley Stadium. Though Dynamite has difficulty sustaining 100,000 or more viewers since the week of Wembley announcement, the viewership had been inconsistent for a few months. The real decline appears to have started in January, as Dynamite went down from comfortably hovering in the 150,000 to 200,000 viewer range most weeks to a range that was generally about 85,000 to 155,000. So Simon Street, you brought this up, and it's kind of interesting to see what's going on. What caught your eye in terms of the story that you thought it was something that should be talked about? Because typically, even though we banter about ratings and stuff, ratings generally nowadays are not necessarily, I think, a factor, other than getting a bigger TV contract because of the advertiser dollars, right? So, Simon, what caught your eye about this, and what are you thinking about what this article had to say?
Well, I think also, too, as you kind of read earlier, some of what was kind of captured was kind of dating back to January. And so you look at a lot of the moves and stuff that AEW is doing right now. And so when I was reading this, I kind of looked, and then maybe it's just me that thought about this, like, okay, is some of the moves that are playing out now. And I would say, let me know, guys, if you agree. AEW is being definitely more aggressive with, anywhere from content to moves that they're making. They're going for it, right? And so I wonder if January, yes, some of the stuff that they're doing now probably was already planned, but they're putting some extra fire on it. Could these indicators, because I don't think that ratings are the end all be all like it used to be, but I do think it's a good indicator, right? It's a good pulse read for the most part in this business where it is today. I kind of looked at that and I was wondering, I was like, hey man, like this is pretty dang on interesting. In the comparison, even though they talked about it as a whole, I kind of looked a little bit and I looked at, some of the comparisons between SmackDown and Rampage. I won't go into details on that because that is like a landslide type of comparison. But Dynamite particularly, I had question marks, and I figured I'd bring it to the table. I know Sin City, you're somebody that has a little bit more insight, and I know you could offer some. And also, BJ, you have some insight as well. And I really wanted to get a balanced approach from you two gentlemen, if that's okay, to answer a question for a guy who, like me, I'm a consumer that's a little bit above Mayweather as of lately, but I kind of want to know the trajectory of AEW.
You said it last time about your son being a Mayweather fan. It's fair.
I am a Mayweather AEW fan. I don't fall away from that, I'll be honest.
Simon,
didn't I say that 2 weeks ago?
Simon, listen to what I'm saying. It's not Mayweather, it's fair weather.
Well, I just connotated Mayweather as a negative thing, so I said Mayweather. So let it stick, it sticks. But at least it makes money. So let's continue on.
You ain't wrong. That's funny. Ratings honestly don't mean shit. And I'll be honest with you. Ratings don't mean shit for the simple fact that streaming services, you can DVR a show and watch it 3 fucking days later. It doesn't matter. AEW just literally got like $5 billion for their TV rights. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If ratings were that bad, do you think Warner Brothers Media would be like, yo, here's some money. Oh, by the way, let's have another show. No. Ratings don't fucking matter. The key demographic, the 18 to 45, yeah, I get that. Back in the day, that was fine. Nielsen ratings and all that bullshit. Competition, and as much as I hate to say this, Eric Bischoff was right. Controversy breeds cash.
Yep, facts.
You got that whole Bloodline saga. You got the CM Punk brawl out saga with the Bucks, and you got CM Punk coming back. I said from day one, that doesn't fucking work. I tried to talk to Nick and Matt. They wouldn't tell me if it was a work or not. But you know how when someone talks to you and they say, well, Matt, I really can't talk about it, but, things aren't what they seem. It's a fucking work, bro. When someone says that, it's a work. But it's smart money to have him come back and do his own thing, and then they're going to see each other at pay-per-views. There's no way they're not going to see each other at pay-per-views. Just like the whole Bloodline saga. I predicted everything that was going to happen months before it happened. And it's because it's the way the WWE puts their product and the way they do their program. You can see, if you watch close enough, you can see the story unfold before your eyes. You know what's going to happen. It's like watching the end of the movie and then saying, shit, that was a crazy ass ending. So I'm gonna go back and watch the beginning now.
What is the ending to the Bloodline then?
The ending to the Bloodlines, everyone's gonna turn on Roman. Like right now, you're gonna have Bloodline Civil War, and that's gonna be great. It's gonna be Solo and Roman, and they're probably gonna bring Rikishi into it. You know what I mean? It's a
possible another member of the family.
Yeah, and you might bring the Samoan werewolf in. You never know.
No, but the question is this, and you said, seeing the end and then working backwards, essentially. The question is this, though, in what they're kind of doing right now, it seems like almost the pinnacle of what this feud is going to end up being, which no one has said, is it's going to be a fatal 4-way between the 4 of them at WrestleMania.
I like that. I like that idea. I love that. I love for the simple fact that right there would be a very high-end WrestleMania main event.
Right.
Yep.
But that's not going to be it. You know why that's not going to be it? Because it makes fucking sense.
Well, here's one last thing.
That's why it's not going to happen.
And I'll tell you why it makes fucking sense and why it could happen. Because the only way to get him involved, that he could do it without having to be trained and ready, is you have The Rock as the referee. That's how you get them involved, and that's how you settle who the family new bloodline leader is going forward in wrestling.
Oh man, I wish this was another show. Shit.
The only problem is the Rock's been taking so many L's. Like, the only problem is the Rock's been taking so many L's. I mean, the XFL.
In real life or in real life? Yeah, a lot of real life.
Black Adam is falling apart. I mean, he had to like kiss ass and go back to the.
Lil Rock just got canceled.
Yeah,
he has some legal issues.
Didn't
he got some legal issues
on the XFL? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so in the grand scheme of things, he probably does need wrestling. So he probably should get his ass back into the ring and start training.
He should, but he won't. And
the thing that I see happening, and we all know Vince is still part of the bookings. Vince is still in control.
Oh, come on now.
We're gonna have The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, and fucking that's gonna happen because now The Rock needs money.
Well, but again, the question is, and it really comes down to what the production schedule is like for him going forward. If he can't get the training in that he feels he needs, there's no way he's going to go out there and actually wrestle.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you do for a shoot job?
If it's that bad, then yeah, he'll take his time and do it.
What do you do for a shoot job?
For a shoot job?
Yeah.
If you got one, I'll take it.
Okay, well, let's say
there you go, guys. Application.
yeah. Like for me, I work at Nike. Work at Nike World Headquarters. Okay, I deal with the athletes when they come on campus. I deal with LeBron. I deal with Jordan. I deal with all those guys. Fucking Pete Sampras. All those fucking people, right? Imagine if I came to work and I told my boss, "Yo, man, I don't need to be here today. I'm gonna go home." Right? And I say that every day. Because I know I got a fast stack of money. I don't need to go to work. And then that fast stack of money run out, and I'm like, shit. Now I got to go back to work. Let me go beg my boss for my job back because I need the money now. That's the Rock going to do in Vince. Rock's going to be like, yo, Vince, I never said I left the WWE. I got that lifetime contract. I need this bag real quick. Let me go. Oh, whoa. Listen here, pal. I'm going to have you wrestle Roman at WrestleMania, pal, and you're going to fucking put him over. That ain't gonna work for me, Vince. Okay, pal, we'll put the belt on you, pal, and you can be the champ for about 6 months, and at SummerSlam you're gonna lose to Sami Zayn. That ain't gonna work for me, pal. That ain't gonna work for me, pal. That's what Roman's doing right now. He's like, ain't working for me, pal. The Rock being a referee, The Rock ain't gonna take no job like that. The Rock ain't gonna. His ego was too big for him to be at WrestleMania as ref. It wouldn't make sense.
Well, it would make absolute sense.
I would feel like he's doing the rock bottom with nobody in him when he's about to do the count.
Because
think about it. Take a second.
It doesn't matter if it was a 3 count.
Doing it 3 times. But it makes sense in the sense that if you have the 4 guys going against each other, there's your guy who decides because he's the family. He truly is the head. Let's fucking face it.
He really is a tribal chief, honestly.
Right.
Like,
can I throw a quick pipe bomb? Can I throw a real pipe bomb? Who the real enemy of the whole bloodline is, and it was revealed on SmackDown. Paul Heyman.
Yep.
Bro.
So whatever the fuck you do, no. Time out. Whatever the fuck you do.
Yep.
Okay. You have to showcase that motherfucker as Voldemort, Jafar, any other nefarious motherfucker who weaves and shit and I'm serious.
For real.
Well,
hey,
yeah, and
I agree, bro. I fucking 1,257. I agree. Paul Heyman is the look. It all started with Sami Zayn and the conspiracy. Who told Sami there was a conspiracy against him?
Paul Heyman.
It was Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman is working everybody. I mean, honestly, I think that, in my opinion, I talked about this on my show. I think Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn are working in cahoots.
There you go.
Oh, they definitely are. The way they look at each other.
That's the conspiracy right there.
Yep.
I just hope that comes to fruition.
And Charmaine Marie says, "Boo to Roman." So
I agree.
I think that's a popular.
We all
thing.
four second that.
All right, so
it's a shared sentiment for sure.
Just really quick, we're talking Bloodline because of the fact that the fucking ratings are,
Yeah.
through the roof with Roman's 1,000 days. So for everyone who fucking hates him, you're still seeing them hit these numbers. And at the same time, like the article mentioned, the AEW numbers have been down. They should at least, well, they're going to spike on Saturday because they've never had a show on Saturday. So you get an automatic new audience on that day. You should get pretty damn good numbers. But will they be able to retain it? And at what point do they go, hey, guess what? CM Punk is bringing us numbers here. Dynamite's not bringing us the same numbers. We need to move him onto Dynamite so that people will start watching that.
And the thing about what you just said, not to cut you off, Simon, but the thing about what you said about bringing CM Punk to Dynamite, remember AEW just got rid of Dark and Dark Elevation. So in my mind's eye, and being a promoter and a booker and being a wrestler, I can see AEW Rampage becoming the NXT of AEW. Because that Saturday show is going to be popping for at least 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, honestly, think about it. Who the fuck is going to be?
I could see that. I think that they'll use ROH more of a developmental. I could easily see them using Rampage as more like a squash matches, and essentially what Dark and Dark Elevation were, except it's on broadcast TV. So,
yeah, I can see that. I mean,
whatever's going to happen, Charmaine really wants Adam Cole to beat the shot of MJF.
And so the thing that we've can pretty much mostly agree on is that ratings really don't matter all that much in the grand scheme of things. Really, what matters is going to be your ticket sales.
Yep.
And that is something that we do have to look at, quite frankly. And I say that being an AEW maximalist. I was at Double or Nothing. I saw the 2 sections that were nearly empty. And I made mention of this last week. Pat McAfee said on his show that the arena was like 75% empty, which it clearly fucking wasn't. However, that narrative is out there. And the fact that narrative exists gives a little bit of, it gives power to those comments of, oh, well, AEW's ratings are in the tank. AEW's starting to, go down or whatever. But BJ, like what you said, they just got picked up. They got 2 new hours of TV every single week. And they got a substantial amount of money from Warner Brothers Discovery. So I think that it's really something that is hyperbole and tribalism at play between AEW maximalists versus WWE maximalists. I think that both companies are actually doing extremely well. If you look at it, of course, and Michaels, I know this is going to drive you insane, but they have sold over 65,000 tickets to All In. And they need a fucking match. They need a huge fucking match. So who's to say that they don't just go ahead and pull the trigger and have CM Punk and FTR face Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks to main event All In? That is how you close out that show.
That will be blood and guts. I will book blood and guts for that fucking show.
Well,
will there be shoes? Will there be shoes missing?
Yeah. Or if you want to get crazy, let's fucking get crazy with it. You want to
get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Let's get fucking nuts, Michael Keaton. Let's do this. We have Forbidden Door. We have Kenny Omega versus Ospreay. Dream match, right? Everyone knows that. Then we have Bryan Danielson versus Okada. Great. Let's book CM Punk and motherfucking Kenta.
Ooh,
let's bring some of these real life hate, like real life heat. Because you know what? Like Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash. Book these motherfucking shows like this. I think the fact that that Jamie Hayter lost the AEW Women's World Championship, that's going to probably be a main match in the UK.
Yep. Yeah, she's got to win it in London. That should make all the sense in the world.
Oh, that's going to be great. They also have a lot of debuts that are going to be coming out. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff that I know that I can't Can't
There's some
say.
people. There's some people if they toe ain't or ankle ain't hurt so much, they probably might be donning the stage. I'm excited about.
Yeah. You know, there's also rumor that we're gonna have a match. I mean, it's been hyped. Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Nigel McGuinness in the UK versus Bryan Danielson, his first match back. Dude,
Hell yeah. Sign me up for that shit.
keep in mind, AEW just sold out. I mean, pretty much sold out an arena that everyone was like, you guys are going to fucking get 2,000 people in there. You guys fucking suck. Going back to what Steve said about the camera work, look, I love Pat McAfee. The guy's great. The guy's great on the fucking mic. He's great.
Oh, yeah.
But
completely.
He's a WWE fucking loyalist. He works for the company. He's going to shit on the fucking competition easily. Yep. What people don't know, and I'm going to tell you guys this because I've worked with WWE shows backstage. I've been backstage at WWE and AEW shows. I've done television production. There's a certain part of the arena that is completely black with no fans there because that's where the fucking hard cam sits, along with the sound techs, the video techs, and everybody. So guess what? You're going to have a whole section of a fucking building not full of people. You ever go to a concert, an 80,000 fucking seat arena, and they only sell 68,500 seats? Oh, guess what? There's fucking staging that's right there. That's why you can't sell it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for all you WWE loyalists who want to shit on a product, here's my advice to you. As a professional wrestler, sit down, shut up, sit back, and watch the fucking show. If you don't like AEW, guess what? You can turn the fucking channel. If you don't like WWE, turn the channel. Simple as that. Because in the grand scheme of things, your internet trolling and your bitching isn't going to do anything. You know, someone can say, God, the Vegas Badboyz podcast fucking suck. And guess what? I'm going to watch it because you said it sucked. So now you just gave them another fucking fan because you said they suck. People were saying...
Secret. That's how we get a lot of ratings.
I like it. I like it a lot. WWE fans were like, oh, AEW is going to fucking not be able to sell this building out. It's fucking going to suck. So now every time a WWE loyalist opens their mouth and talks shit about them not selling a ticket, they sell 5 tickets. Yeah. Oh, Tony Khan's buying all his tickets so he can fill his arena. Why the fuck would he do that? Why would I spend money to put on an event, buy my own tickets, knowing that I have to give the venue a percentage of the tickets? So now I have to pay the venue twice? Come on, people. Be smarter, man.
Cocaine makes you do crazy things.
I mean, be smarter. Come on, man. And cocaine does make you do crazy things. But putting DNA all over people's NDAs too.
Ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
But it costs too much.
Let's move on here. The second count this week, because we just talked ratings, and this is an interesting thing. It comes from comicbook.com. More on why Seth Rollins is returning to WWE NXT to defend his World Heavyweight Championship. Braun Breaker made waves in wrestling this week when he called out Seth Rollins to defend the World Heavyweight Championship on NXT. NXT has this year, brought back Baron Corbin, Mustafa Ali, Dana Brooke, all just within, the last 2 weeks here.
Yep.
Dave Meltzer is reporting that it was teased Rollins versus Breaker match is Nick Khan's doing because he wants to start positioning NXT as a legitimate third brand against again, alongside Raw and SmackDown, like it was before it went 2.0. The deal is that Nick Khan thing, bring like they had Dana Brooke, which is no big deal, but still, Baron Corbin, bring more main roster stars to NXT every week, boost the ratings, try to boost the price for renewal from USA Network because the ratings are higher. So that's the strategy they're going with, and you're going to see more main roster guys on it for the next couple of weeks. And he says it's funny because that's what Triple H wanted to do, but they made it a development brand with the 2.0 and didn't go with that. I think that this is relevant here in what we were just talking about because it really deals with ratings. Now, Steve, I know that you're not too happy with this. So what's your take on the idea of defending the title as one thing, but also using this as leverage to get a bigger television contract.
So I wouldn't have a problem if it was a match. I wouldn't have a problem if it was Rollins showing up on the show. But to actually have a legitimate title defense of your World Heavyweight Championship on a developmental show, I have a major problem with that. Because let me ask you just one simple question. Would Roman Reigns do it?
Well,
you can't get the guy to wrestle on free TV on the main roster.
No, of course. But let's call it real here.
Yeah.
The reason that championship exists right now is because USA Network wanted a championship.
Yeah.
And USA Network is what we're dealing with when we're talking about the network that needs to be doing contract renewals. So,
yeah, and so I mean that's one wrinkle to it. But the thing that gets me is I would have been completely great, and I wouldn't have had any issue with it whatsoever if it would have been any of those things. Or what I really hope that they would have done was they would have had Rollins big league him and say, no, this title has to be on Raw. You're not a Raw superstar. So once you get a contract, then we'll talk. And then that sets that angle into play where Braun is doing whatever he can to get on Raw so he can get the title match so that it means something, as opposed to just a shitty vignette on a Tuesday night that seemed hastily done.
So I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna agree with you because what you're saying is completely 1,000%. Roman wouldn't do it, but here's the thing. Remember when Ric Flair was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion? It was traveling the territory defending the world title at little mom and pop places. I wrestled Tim Storm for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in Portland, Oregon, in front of 400 people. In a small wrestling company, he was the world champion, traveling the world, defending the title against all challengers. Remember when Sasha Banks and Bayley were the golden role models, and they were the world tag team champions and defended the belts on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT? This is how, and Matt said something earlier about AEW having so many fucking titles. WWE has way too many fucking titles. They have women's tag team titles. They have NXT women's tag team titles. They have the SmackDown and Raw women's champion. So Roman Reigns doesn't defend the title because he's too good for that. So they were like, USA was like, we want our own title. Okay, so now you got the Constellation Championship. Mm-hmm. But Seth Rollins is going to be the guy that's going to defend the world title. Mm-hmm. That means against Braun Breaker, against Fandango, against Sin City Steve, against Simon Street, against Charmaine Marie, against the fucking dude down the street. You know what I'm saying? He's defending the world champion. He is legitimately the reigning, defending, undisputed world heavyweight champion. Defending against everybody. That right there to me is the best thing that could possibly happen. Because if you do that, let's just say they get rid of the NXT title. Let's say they get rid of the fucking the Universal World fucking trios. I'm whatever the fuck 3 titles Roman has now. You know what I'm saying? What if they do that and they have truly one world champion who's defending the title? Guess what? Around the world. Indie promotions have a problem by saying we have a world champion. No, you have the fucking Texas championship. You have the LA California championship. You got the Denver Colorado championship. You got the world champion. So with Seth Rollins defending the world title and NXT, I did have a problem with it when I first thought about it. I'm like, what the fuck? Braun Breaker? Give me a break. But now, as we're talking about this, I'm starting to think about it, like, that's a good fucking idea. Because now, correct with the USA thing, they're trying to build up the ratings or whatever, the viewership, so they can leverage that for more money. Business, that's good business. But from a fan's point of view, having Rollins defend the title against everybody, bro, that's money. That is money. And Charmaine, 30 years in the business. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong about that. Sorry.
Simon, what are your thoughts on this whole idea that, these ratings are trending one way for the one company and the other for the other company, when there is so much tribalism, and it only feeds into that tribalism to then point this out?
Well, the one thing that I can say is this was all part of the plan going back 7 years ago. And I'm going 7 years ago, and I want someone from WWE to give me a nod to confirm it. They've always had this plan of restructuring WWE. And when we first started this podcasting, I said the very bold claim, and some people jumped on me, wrestling in the next 5 years, and this is something I stated, will have to change the landscape in order to be a viable form of entertainment for the next generation. It was never going to survive to be the Attitude Era. It was never going to survive to be the Golden Age era or the Territorial days. It had to be amalgamation of taking what worked in those eras, formulating it and seeing what the current market is, and then clicking the trigger and get the right people in place to do it consistently and effectively. And that is Nick Khan. That man knows how to wheel and deals. He could get me a goddamn sports contract. If he told me, Rome, I'm going to get you a sports contract in the NFL, I'm going to be looking at him like, what the fuck? He probably could do it because he's that damn good. What I am saying is there's other companies that are doing it outside of WWE that are finding success. And especially in this landscape of post-COVID, which put a lot of companies upside down. And everybody knows Business 101. When your company is upside down, it's time to restructure. 100%. You're gonna get rid of and cut to trim the fat of whether it's not producing, and you're gonna go in and come up with an effective plan to be able to be profitable. Whether that means getting back in the black, or if that's meaning to have to get a look at your ROI report down the road, you're gonna have to do something, and that's what WWE's done. Now, take what WWE just did. I'm gonna say something that's a little bit more sincerely, and I'm gonna project the future. There's a little movie that just came out. Okay, it's called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Big movie. Nobody expected to do as good as it did. $389.9 million for a movie that they didn't even expect to even get like that.
In a week.
Now, Sony is fucking genius, because they knew at the end of the day, down the road, the relationship they have with the movie rights for Spider-Man and with Marvel, they were going to have to do something the long game. The long game was being able what's viable down the road? Who's your audience? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that Spider-Verse, if you haven't seen it, you should go see it right now. It's one of the best Spider-Man experiences I've seen in probably most of my life. And this is for someone that reads comic books, who actually read the article. It touched base on everything. My point is that WWE is now figuring it out. If you connect the dots with what they were doing with entertaining a lot of NCAA athletes and getting more athletes in there, build a star, unlike with Be a Star, they perfected the build a star. That was phase number one. They raised the bar on what it took to be a star in WWE. You have to be athletical. You have to be able to have a certain type of acumen on the mic to be able to hold yourself, right? They've also trimmed the fat. We used to bitch and complain a long time ago. Remember all of us bitching and complain about all these people that got cut? But those were trimming the fat. Again, part of the business practice of restructuring. And now we're scaling up to now, the belts all changing. NXT women's title and the women's tag team titles for NXT and the main roster are going to be merging, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be happening. It's not just because they got a new deal with who makes the belts. They're putting functionality behind belts. There was one belt that was in WWE that I loved that had that type of functionality, and that was the United States belt. John Cena made it be functional. And for a time, people looked at it. That was the belt that you defended. Now, there's been other promotions that have done it. The television title that was on TNA, that was something that you had to defend it night in and night out, correct? Anytime there's television, you had to defend it. That is what people who, when we're long gone and dead and we got a freaking catheter in our asses and we're watching wrestling, this younger generation audience is going to be looking for more functionality from their props. Because even though the stars make the props, the prop has to be functional. If I give you a shovel, what is the functionality of that shovel? is for you to dig a hole. If I give you a rake, what is the functionality of that rake? For a time, WWE got away from having functionality in their titles, and it just started being numbers. Now we're coming into the era to where this functionality. Now with this title, him going to NXT and with the right people in play, it is smart. It is brilliant because I guarantee you, if I do the demographics on who watches the main roster and who watches NXT, you're going to find the younger demographic watching the NXT. And even though 2.0 was a bit of a bust for our demographic, it wasn't a bust for the younger people. They like the splash of Kool-Aid colors. They like that, all that stuff, and it drawed them in. So now that if we're talking fishing, we put the bait out there, everybody's biting that shit. And guess what? Vince McMahon, for love him or hate him, Nick Khan, Hunter, all of them, they can just sit down, sip some lemonade, and see the money come on in.
That is the best way anyone's ever put that shit. 1,000%, Simon, you were on the fucking money with that, man. I agree. I fucking agree.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. That's a good way to end that topic, and I think that brings us into the final topic on 3 Count, and this comes from Fightful.com. Vince McMahon had been making changes to WWE shows via phone before being backstage this week. Many in the WWE tell us they're in a wait-and-see mode after Vince McMahon has made his presence known since WrestleMania and has been making regular changes to WWE shows remotely, but hasn't popped up backstage. As our Inside the Royal Rumble 3 feature indicated in January 2022 saw an all-time low in WWE morale. Of course, then, we saw Vince go away. The roster was sure Triple H was still in the role now of being the creative genius that he is when Vince came back for this deal with selling the company, and it says that they've been subject to late changes whenever Vince sees it fit remotely. It was reiterated that Vince McMahon is there in person, which he hasn't been since Mania Week, so that the changes were a lot heavier and less reason to them. However, those we spoke to on the roster said that instead they hear that Vince calls in the changes remotely and does it with heavy alterations. Still, there hasn't been a talent that have told us that they've had more flexibility in their promos as of late than when Vince was present. Morale was particularly high after European tour. So Vince was at Raw this past week, and it really, there's really no indication here if there was a real effect by Vince, but the idea that he was merely there has caused this question of, is there more to it? Steve, you kind of brought this up. Steve, what's your reasoning? What are you looking at in this story that catches your eye?
I fucking told y'all that he was going to be back. He was going to get his grubby fucking dirty ass paws into everything. Just a matter of time. We all knew it. So, I mean, this is just confirmation of it. And, yes, anybody who's listened to this show knows that I will give Vince props, because without Vince McMahon, there is no professional wrestling industry as we know it today. We're probably not doing this podcast if there's not a Vince McMahon. So, all things considered, yes, he did pave the way. That being said, he's done some really fucked up shit, and he needs to atone for his sins. Bottom line, he should not be backstage at fucking Raw, especially when he was removed. He was out and out removed previously. He said that he was retiring and that he was done, and then magically the sale gets facilitated, and then he just comes right back. So
here's the deal. Here's the deal about the sale. Vince is a smart man. Okay, Vince is a dirty, fucking perverted ass, racist piece of shit. Yep. But he's a smart man.
True.
Vince became buddy with the guy that bought WWE. the whole Endeavor project, whatever you want to call it. Funny, let's call it Endeavor when Vince is always future endeavoring the shit out of people. The irony, right? The fucking irony. So Vince became very close with this person, sold the company to him under the caveat that he become the chief executive officer. And his contract basically is when he decides he's done, then he's done. Vince can no longer be fired. Vince is there until the fucking day he dies. The guy who bought the WWE basically said, I'm the owner. Vince, do what you want to do. So with that being said, Vince has never fucking left. Nor will he ever leave. Vince is what, 7 years old? Vince is gonna die sitting in Gorilla, tearing up a script.
Come on, BJ. He's gonna die sitting in some woman that he probably.
Wow. I don't think he's sitting in that woman. I think he full on parked. He full on parked into that. And it was probably the forbidden door. Let's be honest, it was probably the forbidden door.
Right there. No,
wait,
seriously.
And then John said, like my mom. What? What are we talking about?
I'm sure he wasn't saying like that.
John, I hope your mom got a good NDA.
Keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Wait, does non-NDA stand for non-dick and ass?
I mean, well, with Vince,
that's the new NDA.
It's just like, I know NDA, but I always say DNA. Yeah, I bet you.
Hold on, did he put his DNA all over her contract?
All over her NDA. Yep. He was like, I want you to see where I come from, lady. Anyway,
that would be his DNA.
He has a genetic jackhammer, so I mean, think about that for a second.
There you go.
But he's smart, and like him, love him, hate him, whatever. Vince is the grandfather of fucking mainstream professional wrestling. But remember when Vince was like, I'm going to inject the poison in the NWO. He was like, literally like, I'm going to inject my poison into my own company, and then I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to get this much money for it and reap the fucking rewards. So,
Vince is 77. And like Charmaine Marie says, Vince is 77. So, yeah, he will most likely be dying.
Didn't his mom die like 102?
Yeah, I mean, but let's face it, his dad though died younger because he had cancer. So it's what are the odds of Vince McMahon living another 23 years and becoming
Vince 100? Will fucking do some Tony Stark shit. He will download his conscience into a fucking.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I was gonna say that motherfucker's gonna be fucking Jarvis.
Yeah, exactly.
And he might literally be fucking Jarvis. So
can you imagine that? Hold on. Can you imagine that people in Gorilla now have to have these Iron Man masks on, and you just see like the camera point of view of them talking like, Vince, shut up. No, you gotta book it this way. No, I could just see it. It'd be fucking amazing.
Remember the Raw GM that was a laptop? Yeah, that's gonna be the future of Raw with Vince's AI laptop.
And it will still be Michael Cole that is answering.
The general manager has spoken. Shut the fuck
because
up.
If there's anyone else who's going to live to be 100 in that company, it's Michael fucking Cole.
Yeah, man,
you ain't lying. Whatever he's taking, y'all better watch it because this man is going to live for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
So
despite getting his glasses knocked off.
The real question is, does it fucking matter if Vince is changing shit or not? I mean, has anyone seen a difference? Has anyone gone, oh my God, this product is...
I've seen a difference. And I'm going to tell you why I've seen a difference. We talked about this on another show. Everyone that watches WWE has been programmed since fucking childhood. And WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. It's the fucking Super Bowl. It's the Emmys, the Grammys, the Oscars of professional wrestling. It is the epitome of the word professional wrestling. You think of that, every kid who grew up to be a wrestler wanted to headline WrestleMania, right? Not me. I'm excited for the Monday Night Raw after Mania. Over the course of fucking X amount of years, it's always been the most Like that's must-see TV.
And we'll bitch and complain if it's not good.
The night after Mania always drew more than the fucking Super Bowl. Like literally. This year's night after WrestleMania, I was like, what in the fuck is going on? This was the worst night after WrestleMania in the history of all fucking sports entertainment. This shit was so horrible. It was so horrible. I slapped myself for watching it.
It was a test, BJ. It was a test.
And
it's called a market test.
I didn't like that test. It was horrible.
It was a market test. I'm telling you.
No, you're probably right.
Because the one thing I said a little bit earlier, and I won't go too long about it. It doesn't matter what Vince McMahon does, as long as he's sitting in the chair to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's never really had a problem with going where the money goes and the opportunity goes. Do you see what I'm saying? He has the right people in place to make the plays they need to make. He has basically formulated his Voltron. That motherfucker is the core of Voltron. He has all parts as needed assembled. He's good to go.
Like out from the head, buddy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's good to go. What you're going to see in the next guarantee, and I always like to say 5 years, but I will say even sooner than that, 3 years, you're going to see the new WWE. And it's going to be unlike what he didn't do in his personal life. It will be totally transparent. It will be something that even though the smartest of smart marks and the most false of prophets, Dave Meltzer, you can add to the cup all you want, but bitch, it ain't your cup. It's Vince McMahon's cup. Mm-hmm. And it is unlike the cup of the covenant. It will be the most cup that overfills and you'll never get a drop because he's designed it that way. And it wasn't just him. It was brilliant minds that designed it because you said something, BJ, that was very, very important. And there's other things in history that we've done. I'll give you something simple. When you go to the grocery store, I know you got kids, right, BJ?
Yep.
You got with me and you got kids, right? Mm-hmm. These little motherfuckers ask for everything that's at their eye level. They don't ask for shit that's up at my eye level, but we've been programmed into that, right? Yep. When you look at certain color cars, when you go look for a car, you gravitate towards certain color cars, right? This is how money is made. It doesn't matter what it is. Once you find that secret sauce, that is what it is. And WWE has found a secret sauce that America loves it. America, I equate, and I'm going to see all my people that watch porn, and I'm sorry I have to go here. WWE is like the Lisa Ann was to the sports.
Wow.
Everybody want a taste. Bro. It has been well proven. Everybody wants it. Everybody's proud to say they got with Lisa Ann. And still to this day, you mean to tell me you'll pass up Lisa Ann? NBA, NFL, XFL. My point taken.
I gotta give you this. Because that's fucking legit.
Come on, man. If I'm another company, I'm going to see what the fuck WWE's doing. If I'm the NFL, I'm going to see what the WWE's doing because what's coming up in about a year? I don't know, those television rights? Mm-hmm. Who's got the ticket on the hot? WWE. That's why Vince made all the moves he did. And it's not even past that, bro. It's not even just in our backyards of the USA. This motherfucker that made broker deals over the pond in the motherfucking desert. In places that's already on the uprising right now. Saudi Arabia is on its way up. And I'm talking about outside of wrestling. Do you get what I'm saying? It's going to be the number one tourist destination and people going to want to go there. So again, I'm going to just stop right there. Because that's not what the show's about.
You're right. And I'm going to tell you this. How many WrestleManias have there been? 39, right?
Yeah, next year's 40.
You know the total in WrestleNomics, Brandon Thurston at WrestleNomics, he put this together. The total amount of money made for 39 WrestleManias is still $10 million less than one Saudi show made.
Think about that.
Can you fucking believe that? 39 years of WrestleMania, blockbuster sales, billion-dollar gates, one motherfucking Saudi show made more money, and they had 10 years, and it's a 10-year deal with that.
Yeah.
The fuck out of here, man.
But that's the whole thing. Let's face it.
Fuck TV rights.
Right, and
well, that's for them other people. That's for them other people that's trying to catch up. That's what I'm talking about.
With it.
The Saudis just purchased the PGA.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact of the matter is, when it comes down to it, is just television in general is, we all know it's an outdated concept, right?
Yep.
When you look at it, and Steve, you said it, AEW needs to get content on Max. Period.
Definitely.
All right. That exposes you to more people than TNT or TBS.
Yep.
All right. It also gives you an option, if it's a higher tiered price, for people who like the product to be paying an extra $5-10 a month for Max. That would include the pay-per-views, right? We know the WWE, when it's said and done, honestly, they set this up perfectly, because they even saw having their own streaming service was nowhere near the money they were going to get from someone else who would lease out the product.
Mm-hmm.
And they already tested the product, so it made people want it. It was like a spoonful of sugar. Who wants the first spoon?
It made medicine go down. That's for damn sure.
Right. So no matter if Vince is there booking stuff and what the morale is, et cetera, the honest answer is you have two different camps. One, it's what I saw training with Cena. Okay. John knew what he was going to do. John loves pro wrestling, but John wasn't focused on becoming a pro wrestler. John was focused on becoming that next level. Right. And at that time, The Rock hadn't even gotten there yet. Right.
Mm-hmm.
We were just starting to see The Rock start to step there. So with the success that those guys have actually blueprinted, the idea now is that the WWE launches you to something different, right? And for those of us who've been in a ring, and I encouraged John a few years ago, if you don't have to take the bumps anymore, if you've gotten to the level where Hollywood is saying, we're going to let you do all this shit, fucking take it. Look at
yes. Yes.
Yo. Hey, really quick, I just wanted to answer one of Charmaine's questions, where she stated, do you think Vince will live? It doesn't matter if he lives, because the one thing I will tell you is this. People ask me all the time, Simon Street, do you want to be rich? I say, hell no, I don't want to be rich. That to me is foolhardy. I want to be generationally wealthy. Because at the end of the day, when you're generationally wealthy, not only do you uplift where your current circumstance is, you carve a goddamn hole. Because at the end of the day, there's tons of people, Charmaine, that have been saying, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. Yeah, you burning through 2 mil, 5 mil, 6 mil, like it's your last meal. But truth be told, the real game has always been generational wealth. Think of all the big companies that happen in America, that's happened all over the world. So if your mindset ain't on generational wealth, ask yourself what your next move should be. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that sounds like a very Mayweather idea.
That was.
So
Money Mayweather at that.
Well, I tell you what.
Well played.
I tell you what, if I can get in a fight with Mayweather, you better believe it ain't going to be, if I'm going to get knocked out, I'm going to make sure I maximize as much of that purse as I could possibly get, and let's structure the deal, because I can give you a little bit better than you got with the Paul.
Well, on that note, everyone, thank you for tuning in to 3 Count. We're going to get into some final thoughts. Simon Street, what are your final thoughts of this week?
Look, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to us and really just taking the time to chill with us. The chat was on fire. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Charmaine, and everybody else who tuned in. We appreciate y'all. We invite and encourage everybody to come in. Unlike some other places, podcasts are a great place to be able to voice your opinion, right? And even if it gets a little loud and crazy, Sin City Steve be on the ones and the twos, moderating all the time. I see you up there, brother. But at the end of the day, it's a place where you can be you, right? And we take everybody's views. So do what you do and tune in next week and see what we do.
I like that. I totally like that, man.
Sin City Steve, what do you got, man?
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, doing all the stuff that you guys do. We appreciate each and every one of you. Also, special thank you to all the brave men and women serving this country, whether you're doing it on lands foreign or domestic. Thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we love to do. And last but not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, and general energy needs. Again, repsports.com. Use promo code VEGAS at checkout and save yourself 15%.
Okay.
Smooth.
All right, BJ, your final thoughts, man.
My final thoughts is this. Wrestling fans, just enjoy the product. You don't have to fight online. Be it WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, just enjoy the fucking product and have a good day. Stop hating on each other.
There you go. And
Fuck our
a final thought. RIP to the Iron Sheik. You know, it's sad to see him go. He was 81. Vince is 77. So over under on 4 years of Vince making it to 81, or
fucking jabroni.
Fuck Hulk Hogan. What do you say? Fuck his mama? What do you say? I don't know what he said.
I break his back, I make him humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note and a good laugh, everyone, thank you for tuning in. And until next week, everyone, happy wrestling.